last 2 or 3 years and allowed us to keep some of the proceeds that we've put back into the foundation to do things in support of the schools. This last year, a special thanks goes out to the Campbell High School IB students. A bunch of them came out, and with some creative thinking, they helped us raise additional funds on top of the regular donation for the Smyrna Education Foundation. So we appreciate their support and hope that they'll consider coming out again next year. I'm going to let Chad fill you in on some other things.
Thank you, Donette. Speaking of Taste of Smyrna, Bill Watson was going to try to come tonight, but he couldn't make it. They had a conflict. They presented us today with a check for $4,000. So they have just been a tremendous supporter of the foundation over the last several years, between the money that Donette mentioned that we raised during the actual event, plus their annual contribution to the foundation. They've been great, along with others. Also, Donette, as far as our board members are concerned, just to brag on Donette for a minute, you all met Dolores about a month ago. It was because of Donette that she connected up with Dolores that a lot of our Smyrna schools have received a lot of great supplies that otherwise these teachers would have to go out and procure themselves out of their own pockets a lot of times. So there's probably thousands of dollars there. We have another board member, Angie Bolton, who's an IBMer. She's been critical in helping us connect our Smyrna schools with IBM grant opportunities, which result in $3,000 grants to the schools, those that receive them, as well as volunteer hours. So we have a really superb team involved with the Smyrna Education Foundation. And again, they're all volunteer based, so we're very excited about that. And I also just wanted to emphasize, Donna did say we have a volunteer board. They give of their time, their talents, but they also write checks. Our board itself has given over $7,000 to the foundation over the last couple of years. So we're very involved with a lot of stuff. And then, of course, we've got some great sponsors. With Georgia Power has been wonderful to us over the years. Atkins Park, the Tuesday night food truck has been a great addition to help us raise some additional funds and support. And the funds that we raise through the foundation have gone back to the schools to do such things as create outdoor classrooms and gardens, teacher incentives, student incentives, additional software that they can't buy on their own that the teachers and principals feel add to the enrichment for the students. So that's kind of a quick update from us, and we're grateful to have your support. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them.
I just want to thank y'all and the board for all the time y'all put in. As you mentioned, this was a result of the task force that we appointed years ago, and people are putting their what they're talking back into the schools, and I think that's great. And even to know that the board members donate. But I know that JRM has been a big donator of funds back to the to y'all's foundation.
We've been able to give, as a result of sponsors and donors like that, over $20,000 to the local schools, which is great.
Right.
So.
Ms. Anulovich.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to add that the Smyrna Education Foundation we've been hearing about your amazing work today, began as a little seed in 2008 when there was the Smyrna Education Committee, and that was an amalgam of people from across the community. Had folks on council participated, a lot of community leaders and school leaders participated, and there'd be rooms with 25 people talking about, okay, what can we do? And it was a months-long process to talk about what are the ways that, independent of the school district, obviously, because these aren't city schools, what can we do to support our schools in Smyrna? And one of the things the leading things that came out of those conversations was having an education foundation. And it's wonderful to see 4 years later the fruit of all of those labors. It's been so successful, and you're all working so hard. And there's just such, I think, a sense of gratitude that is pervasive among us here on the council to see what y'all are doing to support these schools in Smyrna. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Item 4 is land issue, zonings, and annexation, and we do not have anything in that category, nor do we have anything under privilege licenses. Item 5. Item 6 is formal business. A is appointment John Cole, Ward 2, to Parks and Recreation Commission to fulfill term to expire 12/31/13. This is actually in Miss Annette Bluestein's district. She's not here tonight. She's sick, and I want to ask that Melanie Pritchett please take care of that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of Andrea Bluestein, I'd like to move to appoint John Cole, the Ward 2 representative to the Parks and Rec Commission, to fulfill a term to expire on 12/31/13, as the mayor said.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please. I think we can vote now, can we? No. Can't vote yet? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Item 8 is item 7 is commercial building permits. We have none. Item 8 is consent agenda. Mr. Taylor, will you please read the consent agenda for council's approval? And I do know we're going to take item B out and vote on it separately. Item D will be withdrawn for the next meeting, hopefully. So please read the consent agenda for council's approval.
Okay. Item A is an approval of the December 17th, 2012 Mayor and Council minutes. Item B is an approval of change order to Baldwin Paving Incorporated in the amount of $152,749.74 for the Belmont Hills Connector landscaping and irrigation work, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute documents. Item C is to award RFQ 13-016 for pavement striping to both bidders, RP Paving Solutions and Wildcat Striping and Sealing, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute any related documents. Item D has been removed. Item E is an approval of SPC file number 302.33, a non-exclusive easement for the Campbell Road Bridge over Western and Atlantic Railroad between the State Properties Commission and the City of Smyrna, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute the document. And item F is to appoint an interim city clerk.
All right. I'll need a motion to approve item A, C, E, and F. I think that's right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve those items. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item B is the approval of change order to Baldwin Paving, Inc. in the amount of $152,749.74 for Belmont Hills Connector landscape and irrigation work, and the mayor to sign and execute the document. And we have a motion.
Second.
A second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I'm not going to support this item. This is a change order, which is okay. I'm okay with the change order part, but this is for a landscape plan that we've never seen, for a bid document that we've never seen, our staff has never seen. In fact, the bid was issued by a private company. And I'm very uncomfortable spending $152,000 of public money on a bid issued by a private company, but the city would fund its SPLOST dollars or whatever dollars, but those are still real dollars and taxpayer dollars. And I just think we have an opportunity here to go out on bids ourselves, include local Smyrna companies in the bidding process, and give them a shot at that business in this economy. And that has not been done. We also have an opportunity, depending on what's in there, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but it may be possible for the city to buy materials and have our own public works do the installation, which they've done a lot of projects, for even less money. We don't know because we just don't know what this is and don't know where it came from and don't know what's in it. And so I'm very uncomfortable authorizing $152,000 of public money in those circumstances.
Ms. Pritchett?
Yes, one of the things I'd like to point out is that the $200,000 was allocated in this project for landscaping, and the bid coming at $150,000. So we're $50,000 under the money that's in there, and I don't have a problem with this, and I am going to support it.
Mr. Fennell?
I share Ms. Pritchett's observation that the SPLOST budget on this was a $200,000 item. While I think we could have seen a little better management up front of the order and the bid process, there's no question Mr. Lineker has a point there. But I do believe that in the greater scheme of things, what we're talking about here is an opportunity for the project to come to final completion with all components integrated, also being respectful of the adjacent party partner in the private sector that we're working with to make sure that that area of the Belmont Hills projects multiple projects, all have the same look and feel for one of the gateway opportunities in the city, and therefore I'll support this and urge our project manager to be more diligent in the future to maintain the opportunity to do this correctly.
And I think one of the things is that when they bid the project, they purposely left this portion out because they didn't know when Belmont Hills was going to be ready. So, and plus, if we do bid it out, we don't know we're going to get any cheaper prices. Plus, you have the project complete, then come back in, might do some boring on the road, may do some cuts on the road that just would not make much sense. So, got a motion and a second to approve this item. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? That's approved 4-2. Is that correct? Okay. All right. Item 9 is committee reports. We'll start. We'll start tonight with Mr. Ron Fennell. Excuse me.
Mr. Mayor, your Public Safety Committee has completed work as you appointed on October 4th. We reported it back to the council earlier. And I know Mr. Taylor has an announcement, and I'll let him make that public announcement on the recommendation that came out of the committee. But I thank you for allowing the public safety team and those in the community to have input on the subject. Police and fire, they do everything they can every day to make sure we're safe, and I hope that you join me in thanking them when you have an opportunity for the work they do to keep us safe. And thanks to a lot of hard work, a lot of people had a happy holiday and came back to see a new year because of the DUI task force and the hard work of enforcement on the roads. And I just want to say thank you to them again. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Wade Lennox.
Thank you, Your Honor. I hope everyone in Smyrna had great holidays, and want to wish everyone all the best for the new year. I'm excited about the announcement that Mr. Taylor is going to make in his report about a couple new department heads that are finalists for positions that we have open. I think both these individuals are going to do a great job for the city, and I look forward to hopefully securing them officially and getting them to Smyrna and on the job. I want to thank Susan Hyatt for her years as our city clerk. She has announced her resignation. This is her last week. I've said many times I think Susan is the best city clerk in the state of Georgia. We're going to miss her. I appreciate all the things she's done to professionalize that office and to support the city. It's not really part of her job, but we'd always see her at city events, at city concerts, at city festivals. She was out there in the community, supporting the cities, supporting the council, supporting the citizens, trying to treat everybody fair that came into her office, no matter what their status or rank. Everyone was treated as a customer politely, professionally. Susan, you'll be missed. I thank you for all the services you've given to the city of Smyrna. Thank you. I yield.
Ms. Susan Wilkinson.
I would like to reiterate some of Wade's comments. I really appreciate all the help that Susan Hyatt has given me being in this position and being new. She's been very helpful. And I also I look forward to the coming year and the second year, and I look forward to serving in this position. And I want to wish everybody else a happy new year. And with that, I yield.
Mr. Corky Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Much like everybody else has reported, I'd like to wish Susan well in her new endeavor, but I look at it as a new chapter in the city of Smyrna, and we're looking forward to the changes in all the departments, and just wish everybody well in their new endeavors, and I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you.
Ms. Terry Nolowich.
Thank you, sir. I hope the holidays were wonderful and safe for everyone. I'm looking forward to 2013. It's been an interesting year, and I know that, we, between the library and the police department and with Susan Hyatt departing, that's a departure of three incredibly adept and as far as their professional fields go, really visionary to a large degree, department heads, and they can't really ever be replaced. But what I'm excited about is now seeing, as these departments go forward, filling them with a fresh set of eyes that can really continue the growth and the excellence of each department. Those foundations that have been laid by Chief Hook and by Mr. Siegler and by Ms. Hyatt. And, the searches for librarian and police chief are winding down. The search for a clerk is just beginning. I feel slightly resentful every time I drive through Brookhaven now, but I'll try not to let it hinder me. But with that, I yield, so I look forward to 2013. Thanks.
Ms. Melanie Pritchett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, too, am going to miss Stan and Michael and Susan. Susan was was the first clerk in the state of Georgia to get her master's as a city clerk. And that just goes to her professionalism, her knowledge. And I, too, when she told me, I was thrilled for her because of a new beginning in her life, but I was really sad for us, the fact that we'd be losing her. And we're looking forward to our candidates that we'll be interviewing in the future. I'm excited about our new police chief, our new librarian. We've got a lot of things on the horizon for 2013. Granicus is one of them, and that's what we're having some difficulty with tonight. But that's what it's all about, is working out the bugs as we go through. And once this is perfected so that we can use it, and citizens will be able to do live streaming and to see what we're talking about and what we're doing, I think everybody will be very pleased with it. In the interim period, it's just like anything. You get a new TV at your house, a new iPhone, an iPad. You have to learn it. So we're working out the bugs, and thank you for your patience, and I hope everyone has a wonderful 2013. And we're going to miss you, Susan. Bye.
Mr. Eric Taylor.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, as has been mentioned by several people up here tonight, I'm happy to announce that the selection process for new library director and new police chief for the city of Smyrna is hopefully coming to a close here pretty soon. As required by state law, we are announcing sole finalists tonight for the library director. I'm happy to announce that the sole finalist is Mary Wallace Moore. She comes to us from Huntsville, Madison County Public Library System, where she's been serving as a reference and adult services manager for several years. And as the police chief, I'm very happy to announce that our sole finalist is David Lee, who is currently serving as the deputy police chief for the city of Marietta. Both of these folks have come very highly recommended, and we'll be spending the next 2 weeks negotiating and coming to terms with them so that the council could take a final vote at the next meeting of January the 22nd, I believe it is. So I look forward to working with both of those individuals, and I too am sad to see Susan leave. She and I have spent a lot of time together up on the hallway up at the second floor, and she's a good person to work with, and I wish her the best of luck.
Mr. Scott Cochran.
Yeah, I'll say some of the same things that the other people have said. Susan, from an appointed person standpoint, you've been great to work with as another appointed person. I really enjoyed the time that we've been here. You've made my job a lot easier, and I wish you well at Brookhaven. It's going to be a long commute. Yeah, well, that's good. So I just wish you well.
Before we close, go any further, I do want to say that when I received the call from Susan on New Year's Eve, it surprised me that, that she was leaving. But first thing I told her was what a great opportunity it is for you to go to Brookhaven, and they picked the best city clerk in the state to help them start that city off. So it's got to be exciting for you. I know it is, and I wish you well and see you around. You'll be around. Anything else? We got a couple other items on the agenda. We do not have a show cause hearing. Citizens input. We've got two folks that have signed up. Elliot Backer at 3459 Shawnee Trail. Comments? It's his topic.
If I could just quickly, with our system not being operational fully, that at the 10 seconds we'll ring the bell once, and then when the 10 seconds have run down at the end of your 3 minutes, we'll go ahead and ring the bell twice because we don't have our other timer on. Thank you.
I couldn't hear you. My first comment tonight, Jay Wallace from Adventure Outdoors was nominated Smyrna Citizen of the Year Award. Well, Jay Wallace doesn't live in Smyrna. To me, a citizen of Smyrna is someone who lives here. He lives in Ackworth. I think in the future, the Downtown Business Group should change it if they vote someone in that lives outside the city, residential-wise, to maybe award it at large. But that is incorrect to me that it's a Smyrna citizen is a resident here. It's too bad you couldn't have found someone inside the city limits. Secondly, Mayor, you made a comment at the last meeting that you've never, with your tenure, you've never taken your position for granted. Well, we had the Smyrna Commons. We never had, for $8 million, a town hall meeting, referendum, even public hearing here for that amount of money. And Hickory Lakes for $9 million and $4 million, $13.5 million. To me, that warrants a referendum and a town hall meeting, at least. We never had any of that. Speaking of town hall meetings, Bob Ott had 3 town hall meetings here last year, bringing managers and constituents in, department heads to answer all questions, and they stayed until every question was answered. Mayor, you didn't have one meeting last year in 12. I hope in the new resolutions that you have for 13 that you have a town hall meeting. You promised 60 days after you were elected to have one. That's a broken promise. But I'm trying to be upswing here that maybe this will change in 13, that you have at least 1 or 2 town hall meetings in this calendar year. We expect it to be, it's correct and it should be done. Part of your job is answering questions, and you should look forward to doing this. I don't know why we have a poor record in Cobb County like this, but it's time to change it. And as far as accountability and transparency in how our money's being spent, we have the right to know. And when you're dealing in the millions, town hall meetings are crucial, and to me pivotal, that people are in the light on how the money's being spent. And I hope this changes in the new year and you have some town hall meetings where we have questions that need to be answered. After all, we are the employers of the city paying the salaries. We have a right to ask for the town hall meetings, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your plan is in 13. Thank you.
Looks like Eric Fernand, I'm sorry, 2197 Old Spring Road. His topic is 2 murders in 30 days.
Good evening. My name is Eric Fernald. I lived in Smyrna for about 8 years, and it's been a pretty decent place to live. And in early mid-December, the lady across the street from me was murdered by her husband, and it was pretty unsettling. I understand it was a domestic dispute, and there's not a lot, the police can do things about that. Less than 2 weeks ago, 6 doors away, a man was shot and killed. These are both in Ward 5 where I live, with about 6 doors apart. I've spoken at length with Susan. She's been wonderful about it, and I did want to bring it to everyone's attention that these things do go on in this town. It's unfortunate, but when you're picking the police chief, and I'm not sure if the decision's been made, please take that into consideration, that these things do happen in this town. And my request, at least, was hopefully that we could maybe beef up some patrols in our neighborhood. The demographics have changed dramatically in the last 2 years in our neighborhood. It was more working class before, and it's changed a lot. And I would prefer to stay in this town if I could. I would prefer that. I'd like to raise my family here. I have 2 boys, 3 and 7 months. and it's not nice explaining to a 3.5-year-old what's been taking place. He's a smart boy, and he knows what's going on, but explaining it to him is unsettling, to say the least. And I just hope that everyone here does their best to try and make our town be the best it can be. I do a lot of things in town. I'm a coach, and I like helping out young boys and other things in town. I'm a member of the Optimist Club with Corky, and I've seen Ron at the meetings. And like I said, Susan's been great in this. I've talked to her a few times and at length. But please, when you make that final decision, think of the families that were involved and the huge ripple effect that has in our community when these things happen. Nobody likes them. I'm not blaming anybody, but I just wanted to speak my mind on it. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could address Mr. Fernald very briefly.
You want just, rather than you just want to make a comment, you can.
Yeah, just understand your concern, and I appreciate how you feel about your family and the situation, and that's of concern to all of us. I will tell you, we have made a finalist selection for our police chief, and we actually brought him in prior to this meeting this evening with the council for everyone to meet him and talk to him and interview him, if you will, and feel comfortable with him. But one of the final things we did with him was we talked about that very situation up the street from you, and how, if he became our chief and started here, how he would handle situations like that to get neighborhood and community folks working together to try to get some heads up on these kinds of situations and address them before they get to that point. So it was very much on our minds, that situation, and I didn't know you were coming tonight, and we haven't talked, but we do take those kinds of things very serious, and I understand your concerns. I appreciate you being here.
And I did speak, excuse me, if I may speak, I did speak at length, at least twice over the past month with Susan, and exchanged some emails as well, but we spoke on the phone, and she's been very good about it. And I did voice my concern, and I feel comfortable with her positions, and I just don't know everyone else's position. That's all. I just wanted to bring it out there, and I know you guys know what's going on, but.
But I can only tell you this, is that I think we've hired the best candidate that we could possibly get for the police chief. So, you know, we got issues just like every small town.
Right.
And, you know, when that happens, it hurts everybody, you know, so we understand.
Yeah, it just hit a little closer to home this time. You know, I mean, directly across the street's a tough one. And,
thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Go Alabama. Is it, let's see here. I think that's the last person to sign up. If there's no other business to be brought before this body, I'll declare this meeting adjourned at it's about 8:08 looks like. Now what do we do here? Do we do anything?